It is in the nature of this creature to swallow men and ships and even whales and everything else within reach. It stays submerged for days. Then it rears its head and nostrils above the surface and stays that way at least until the change of tide. Ogmund Tussock has sent these creatures to you by means of his magic to cause death to you and all of your men. He thought more men would have gone the same way as those that had already drowned, and he expected that it would have swallowed us all.
Welcome to Counting Cryptids.
Oh, yeah, hi. That's what the show is, not death and swallowing things.
That is also a good name, though.
Not really.
Death and
Maybe
swallowing
an
things.
album.
Meta.
Any comedy metal bands out there looking for an album name?
I'm sure.
Death and swallowing things. So today we are talking about the Kraken.
We are talking about the Kraken.
But before we get started on that, we somebody liked us.
Somebody liked us. Well, that was actually from
They liked us
a
enough.
little while ago.
It's yeah.
January 3rd. No biggie. We were still fresh. This might even been before we had an actual episode out.
Yeah, it was episode 0. It was the only one up.
Cool. But this person...
But we got a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Not
Hey.
like liked us on Facebook. We have a 5-star review, is what that
he
was
liked
alluding
us
to.
on iTunes, on the musics, on the sound stuff. So Orson41 gave us that 5-star review. Thanks, dude.
Hey, thank you.
He says, I love cryptids, so this show promises to be a delight. Connor and Jacob offer different styles that seem intriguing. Thanks, Jake.
Cool.
Thanks. I almost said thanks, Jacob. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank
you for offering a different...
Oh, yeah, that was like
different
I
style
definitely
than
didn't
I
write
am.
that, but okay.
Jacob did not write this. We have not.
I would
submitted
have
our
made
own
myself
5-star
sound a
reviews
lot
yet.
better than they seem like they're different.
Yeah. They
I
might
maybe
be
would have
good.
described us a little bit better.
We haven't
but
heard anything from them, but they
you
might
know.
be good.
That's fair.
So if you have listened to
If
4 or
you-
5 episodes
You
so
heard a
far,
couple of them. You're into it. Let us know what you think. 5-star reviews.
5-star reviews
Cool.
are good. Any review is acceptable. We will definitely take them. I want to read all of them.
Some constructive criticism. There you go. Just
I
read
want to read all of them.
But then
Bad
you're
or
like,
good.
then you're like leaving it up there for people to just like
slaughter us.
do shit ones, and yeah, that might get. I don't know if that's gonna be funny or just like rough and hurt my soul.
We will read them within reason.
Okay, so today we're talking about the Kraken.
Yes, the very famous Kraken, or infamous, whichever way you look at it.
What does infamous mean? Is it just like famous
for
in a negative
not-
light?
Yeah, I think so. Or just not famous, because infamous sounds like opposite of famous.
Well known for a bad quality or deed. So you're famous for something bad.
Yeah.
So
Probably like
I
this
think
show.
it would, yeah. The infamous.
Remember to leave
for
your
something
iTunes review.
Immediate callback, Connor. That's what the people are here for.
You don't have to wait till the end of the episode. You get it 3 minutes later.
Every 3 minutes, we'll be checking in. Have you reviewed
Make
us on
sure-
iTunes yet?
yeah. Today's episode is about iTunes reviews. Sprinkled in... with
AKA
some
the Kraken.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great start.
It's pretty rough, but
Yeah.
let's see if we can bring it back around.
I feel like we usually kick it off with where the word derives from, where...
Just kind of like the basics
Yeah.
of, like
Yeah,
where
that
it
kinda
comes
stuff.
from and what it is.
So I've got the English word, and that's not American English. The English word Kraken, is from krake or crake, Krake, which is a Norwegian word for an unhealthy animal or something twisted.
Okay.
And then also in modern German, Krak, same word, Krake, means octopus, but can also refer to the legendary Kraken.
That seems like that would get confusing if they're just like the same word and kind of a similar creature. Is that?
I feel like we ran into this with Doarku.
That's kind of what I'm just thinking right now. Is like, was that just what it is? Like, because maybe I read into that. I guess I didn't really know that until the end of the episode, and I was already kind of on board with Otter. But
anyway, yeah.
Either way, I digress.
Germans, Norwegians.
I don't speak either of those languages.
But it gives you an idea where they're coming from, Kraken's most popular up in that region.
So I guess originally it was more described as a large crustacean.
Yeah.
But then accounts seem to change
to
cephalopodish, being like an octopus or a squid of some sort. So something with tentacles.
Tentacled beast, yes.
I mean, I guess crab legs kind of...
Are tentacly. They're creepy as fuck. I hate
crabs.
crabs.
Are fucking... They are weird.
Anyway. I digress.
Arthropods, but maybe that's just...
Like arachnids. They're not arachnids. I just read an article about arachnids the other day. Speaking of, there's a new article. This is off air, but on air. There's like a species of arachnids that was captured in ambergris.
Whale fat?
No, amber. No,
amber. Sap. Oh, like a Jurassic Park shit.
Jurassic Park ship, yeah.
And it has ambergris is like whale vomit or something.
Yeah, you make
whale poop.
Out of.
Yeah. Anyway.
So they found this in prehistoric arachnid that had a tail.
What?
Yeah, dude.
It had a tail?
It had a tail.
That is fucking
like
terrifying. Oh, okay. That makes a little more sense.
Yeah, it didn't have like a rat tail.
In my mind, I was picturing the
like
little thing
tail.
from Alien that burst out of that woman's
redneck
chest.
Fucking spider. Oh, little Billy Joe.
I guess also it was said could be up to a mile long. Sometimes its body could be mistaken for an island. I guess that's also kind of similar to an island whale. That's also a thing, or like a turtle. Those are some other common things that you see throughout, like
you
folklore
might be
and
familiar
mythology.
with the island turtle if you've seen like flat Earth depictions of the Earth being on a whale or on a whale. God damn it, on a turtle.
I feel like that's also like some video game thing, like a Zelda thing, but I could be wrong.
Could be, yeah. It's definitely in Zelda. Wind Waker? Wind Waker? Is it Wind Walker?
Windwalker. Waker? W-A-K-E-R? Windwhacker?
Windwhacker. You're whacking to the wind.
I am seeing an island turtle in Zelda. Oh my god, you know why?
Why?
Fucking Super Smash Bros.
Duh. It's also in a bunch of movies.
Yeah, some pop culture.
Clash of the Titans is probably the most recent one. Also, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean is probably the best known reference in pop culture to the Kraken.
If you follow Pirates of the Caribbean, you have a mental image of what a Kraken is.
I feel like as far as like size goes and
intensity.
Yeah, dude, it's just that moment is very intense in that movie.
Never seen it. I'm not a Pirates of the Caribbean fan.
So I also have...
There's no...
do you have another pop culture?
There's no Krakens in Star Wars.
I mean, what about the... never mind.
In the latest, what is it? Episode 7, when Han Solo is moving those rolling
I haven't seen the newest
beasts. I haven't seen the newest one, but this is the one from a couple of years ago. Force Awakens.
Okay.
He's got these two... I can't remember off the top of my head what they're called. But they're like rolling tentacled monsters, and they eat a bunch of people in a ship. But
I don't remember.
It's not Kraken. It's all I'm saying.
Way, it's not a Kraken. Did you have other pop culture references or no? I have a couple.
I got Atlantis. I think the Atlantis movie, the animated version from Disney.
It was in an episode of The Fairly Odd Parents.
Yes.
Credited as the Kraken, Kraken episode. It was called Beach Blanket Bozo.
Beach Blanket Bozo.
Also, it was in the video game God of War 2 and Age of Mythology.
That it was, yeah. I remember seeing God of War.
So I guess the Pirates of the Caribbean, I'm not sure if that depiction is where this comes from or if this was something that was already in the lore. I think it was already in the lore, but I have that it wraps its tentacles around a ship to sink it, or if somehow it managed to fail, it would swim around in circles or just kind of swim down to create a whirlpool.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure whirlpool wouldn't like make the ship just like go down and maybe like capsize the ship.
Yeah.
But that seems like relatively intelligent if it's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna sink this boat.
I also have that it like resembles like undersea volcanic activity, like as it's coming to the surface, it like has bubbles and different
like the
currents.
Megalodon, that people said that the water boiled at the surface where it was swimming.
Exactly.
It's fucking weird.
It's very strange to see, like.
Okay. So what if that has something to do with like displacement of water at a rapid rate because of the size of whatever it is? I may be a little bit too far away from the microphone, but you know what I'm saying? Like if it's displacing water because of it's fucking a mile long, just like this massive thing, that water would have to move really quickly. You know what I mean? It's just like I think we're sticking to the catchphrase from 2 episodes ago. This is becoming the worst podcast.
That is our slogan.
That t-shirt will also be on TeePublic tonight. So in the 13th century Icelandic saga, I'm going to butcher all of these words. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. Orvar Odr, the protagonists, spot 2 massive sea monsters called Hafgufa, which translates roughly to sea mist, and Lingbacker.
Yes, which we mentioned in the quote at the beginning of the show.
Or maybe didn't. That also loosely translates to heatherback, which I don't understand.
Heatherback. My wife's back.
The Hafguaf. The sea mist is Hafgufa.
I like Hafgufa.
Hafgufa.
Just a half a
Hafgufa.
goofa. Just a half a
The sea
goofa, not a
mist.
full goofa.
Either way, the sea mist is believed to be a reference to the Kraken. That's sort of the origins of this thing. And in the first edition of Systema Naturae by Carl Linnaeus, written in 1735, the Kraken is listed with the cephalopod mollusks.
Yeah, he thought it was a real thing, a real thing.
It was a real thing.
Put it in there as a real thing. So he was a pretty well-renowned dude.
Carl Linnaeus.
Yeah, let me find it in my notes. So he was a zoologist and a respected scientist, and he's also considered to be the father of biological systematics. I guess we described a bit where it was located, but
I don't really think we did. I mean, I guess kind of
mentioned in
Norway,
the
Greenland
intro,
coasts, oceans, but
that's where it's often described. And like the quote says, that's right in that area, the northern seas.
I also had noted that a giant squid inhabits all of the world's oceans. It would more typically be found in a colder climate, I believe, but it can be other places. So I assume that the Kraken wouldn't be strictly limited to that area. But maybe that's just the more common sighting. Also, there's just one of them.
Some places describe the Kraken as one single monster, like a guardian, like almost like godlike. Other places, it could be multiple.
Is the other ones where it's multiple, is that just like a misidentification of a giant squid over?
I mean in
for like
both
a couple
cases,
thousand years
it
or
very
something?
well could have been.
Well, do you want to talk about the giant squid a little bit then?
Yeah. But first, I want to talk about some ichthyosaur bones that were discovered in patterns similar to the way that octopuses place the bones of their meals.
Yes.
So the bones showed signs of constriction around the ribs from an ichthyosaur, which is a massive, like whale-ish looking thing from prehistoric times. And some people point to this as evidence that there was a Kraken-sized monster in that time period. But to me, an ichthyosaur was way before human beings. I'm not sure the exact time period that an ichthyosaur lived, which would result in the giant kraken devouring this kind of person, kind of animal. But there's that evidence.
They could. I see here the average size. Like they can get up to 30 feet long for the ichthyosaur.
Right. So that kind of proves that there was a thing that large that could constrict. And there's also other sea serpents in that time period that may have used constricting methods to kill.
Just like a sea python.
Oh Jesus!
Sea anacondas.
As scary
Dwayne
as
The Rock Johnson's coming back for a sequel, y'all. It's like snakes on a plane, but sea anacondas.
Motherfucking anacondas in the sea.
I've had it with these motherfucking anacondas in this motherfucking sea. That's not Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I'm aware that those are two different actors.
That's Samuel L. Jackson, motherfucker. But giant squids.
Okay, we're
nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah.
In 1853, a giant cephalopod was found stranded in the Danish beach. The beak was recovered by a Norwegian naturalist named, pardon my French, or my Norwegian, Japetsjø Stenstrup, who used the beak to scientifically describe the giant squid.
Okay.
So that was the first sort of like real
iteration
other than the Kraken being referenced. They throw the giant squid in there, and this 1853. So this is 120 years after that first edition of the Systema Naturae.
Yeah. So they're definitely a giant beast similar to the Kraken in the area.
Yeah.
Whether it's not what it was described back then as giant as they thought it was, and human flesh hungry. But today we've got giant squids and colossal squids, which they're similar, very, very similar. They're both in the same family. Giant squids
are longer.
They're longer and skinnier, and colossal squids way more
chody,
but are much chodier.
Kind of chode-like.
Yeah, a little chode squid.
I am envisioning like a jellyfish squid when you say that, like a really wide jellyfish. I don't know why.
But it is a squid, not a jellyfish.
No, I get it.
Just so you listeners know, Jacob's trying to confuse the fuck out of you right now.
That's my job.
But they're both giant fucking animals.
Yeah, definitely huge.
The colossal squid is like maxed out at 1,600 pounds or more, while the largest giant squid measured in at 59 feet in length and weighing nearly a ton.
59? Damn, I found 43.
43 for colossal.
But I have pentacles here.
The pentagram with tentacles?
Yes. That's also going to be a t-shirt on TeePublic tonight.
I'm going to write these down.
That one's actually legit. I like the pentacles.
Pentacles. Nailed it.
What about tentagrams?
Tentagrams are good too. I
think pentacles is better.
Pentacles gets the name across better, I think. The idea.
The juice is flowing.
The juice is flowing.
Also, giant squids have the largest eyes in the animal kingdom. The largest one they have found measured 10.63 inches. This Deep Sea News says roughly the size of a dinner plate. That's just an eye. That's as big as your head almost.
Eyeball, dude.
They're not all that big. That was the biggest they have found. The average size is 2 to 6 inches, but still a 6-inch eye is massive.
But they're both super, super elusive. Like, it wasn't.
I think we mentioned this in the last episode, Megalodon. If you haven't checked it out.
Just to reiterate that real quick.
I'm just kidding. You can listen to the podcast in any order you want to.
Yeah. Listen to this podcast.
Just listen to them all.
And then listen to Megalodon.
Actually, don't. Maybe.
Just do it. Just do it. You do you. We're not going to tell you how to live your life. But we are going to tell you that the giant squid was caught first on camera in 2004 by researchers in Japan. And then in 2006, Japan's Natural Science Museum caught and brought to the surface a live 24-foot female giant squid.
Damn.
So it's a little one, about half the size of normal, but
well, then,
or I guess half the size of the largest.
They caught it and brought it up. I had found that they typically are at depths of 1,000 to 2,000 feet, but specimens have allegedly been found at depths of up to 3,800 feet.
Damn.
Which I don't know how you. I guess do you do that when you're in a submarine maybe and you physically see it, or is that because like how do you know it's like well that's how deep my net was? Can you catch it anything else on the way up? Like I don't know how that works.
No, either. I feel like it kind of
does it close?
It's such a big net though. Like they're probably mile-long fucking nets.
There's something really fucked up. I guess sometimes they just cut those out.
They just caught them. They're stuck on something. Fuck it.
I think like even more so than that. Like they just cut it all the time. Like there's a ton of that shit just out there.
Yeah. I listened to a podcast or I read somewhere. I don't know. This was a while ago, but there's like a huge movement on the coasts to like bring those old nets in and like just exchange them for new nets. If you know anything about fishing nets, I want to hear what you know about fishing nets because that's actually pretty interesting. I'm all about wildlife conservation and Kraken conservation.
Kraken conservation. There's only one though, so
save the Kraken.
It's not like it's is an endangered species if there's one. I feel like you call that a fucked species.
Yeah,
like there's beyond or like if there's only one gender left.
You're fucked.
You know what I mean? If there's not a reproducing population, what's that? Is there a terminology for that maybe we should know? This is technically called functional extinction.
They're pretty much
with
extinct.
no viable reproducing population. The species will almost certainly become extinct. Note that humans could potentially mess with this through the use of reproductive technologies.
Clone them bitches.
Or
if
if
you had sex with it, you're fucked.
Well,
Damn
you have
humans.
to put it in a different tiger, so you're technically kind of creating a different species. You're continuing that bloodline, so it.
But the way you put that, they're all related. Therefore, it's going to be fucked up anyway.
Well, but that's kind of what cats do anyway. Is a lot of inbreeding.
Right, but some cats are fucked up. Have you seen my cat?
I meant like big cats, like wild cats. Not.
I guess if they're
house cats. I'm sure house cats.
They're in
probably also, but.
What is it called? It's not a herd. I want to say that
it's a glaring.
A glaring is that for large cats?
It might be specific for like a tiger or a cheetah, but I know a large group of cats is referred to as a glaring. I don't know if that's only with.
We're talking about the extinction.
Pride for lions.
Pride. That's what I was looking for. Let's come up with a new name for a group
Shoal
of squids.
or squad. But some people think shoal isn't really right.
Squirtle squad.
Somehow we're getting Pokemon into this one too.
Yeah, we're gonna get.
All right, this has been fucking sidetracked. Horde. It's been horde. Okay, I think we just hit giant squid and colossal squid. Were you done on that?
The difference between the colossal and giant squid is that the giant squid's limbs are, they both have their suckers, and on the colossal squid they have sharp hooks.
On the suckers or on the end of the tentacles?
On the suckers.
That sucks.
It sucks, but since
that sticks
at the end would be even more terrifying. So the colossal squid, I mentioned how the giant squid was found and when it was found in 1925. As far as I know, only visual proof we have of a colossal squid is that 2 tentacles were found in the stomach of a sperm whale in 1925. I think there might be some more evidence now, but that was its first.
Evidence, but yeah,
that was the first evidence of a colossal squid. You mentioned that squids were found all over the world, but for some reason in my notes I found that they were in more often found in the southern hemisphere. And in one article I read, it led them to believe that the Kraken was a different beast because of the separation.
Oh, really? I could have say some of the places I'm going for information are kind of sketchy, so you know what I mean? When I'm have some information like that, it's just like it probably came from a website that's like,
We're picking the meat off the bones on this one.
Right. It's fucking,
there's
a lot on it, but it's just like it's
a lot of the same stuff on it on every website.
So I have the North Atlantic is home to many more species than other habitat locations. They are also found in large numbers around the Gulf of Mexico, Hawaii, and California. In the North Pacific, squid have been identified from the North Pacific starting at the Bering Sea all the way to the Sea of Japan. It says all the day, but I'm sure it means all the way. So it kind of seems... I guess I did technically say all of the world's oceans, so I don't know if that just means everywhere. Now that I'm thinking about it, that just means they're in all of the oceans. Addendum to this episode.
So according to this Wikipedia picture of giant squid habitats, there is a ton of spots in the North Hemisphere where, like, especially in that Greenland, Iceland area.
Really?
Tons of them.
That maybe says something about some of those sightings.
Wherever I got my research from wasn't as reliable as the old Wikipedia.
Or maybe Wikipedia isn't as reliable as where you got your research from.
I mean, I can click to the pictures here, and different places have different infographics of pretty much the same thing. So,
okay.
Yeah, a lot of northern, actually.
Interesting.
So,
it's compelling.
That. Yeah. If that's not something pointing towards Kraken being a giant or colossal squid, then I don't know what is.
I've got. Let's get to this Google Earth thing then, because this kind of maybe says otherwise.
While we're looking at maps,
and you're kind of in that same area too, wasn't it? Oh, was it Antarctic or was it Arctic?
I actually do not know, but I
have it up.
The coordinates are 63 degrees.
It's
I don't know how to read coordinates.
It's right off of Antarctica.
We'll post the coordinates and the link in the description, because I'm not going to describe it.
It's right off of the landmass. 63 degrees, 56.7 south, 60 degrees, 57.32.4 west.
Whatever that means.
I'm not a
choreographer.
You don't teach dance, Connor?
No.
Oh, you know what? One thing we haven't done. We haven't heard. We didn't do this last episode either. But what?
Damn.
The noise.
They're sea creatures.
Yeah.
That makes it real hard.
Because sharks should make like super metal noises, but I'm guessing they don't.
Probably like sonar. Do they use sonar?
No, they don't.
I don't know. Is that just dolphins?
I don't believe. Well, not just dolphins, but I don't believe that.
Yeah, those.
I don't believe that sharks do.
How do
I want sharks to be like, "Rah!" You know what I mean? Just like metal growls when they open their mouths.
Rah! Just going in for the kill and just rah! Seals. Rah!
It's a dead giveaway.
Seals don't have ears. Come on.
They're mammals, of course they do. I don't know what sound
we got to do some Kraken noises.
Make.
Kraken, squid, cephalopod noises.
I feel like I feel like it would just be like a really low rumble. And maybe like a high pitched like a metal on metal scraping noise going on too. Just like, why is this?
That was like kind of a seagull-ish.
I don't know. It would just like make a noise. Like, it's not like a noise that it makes, but it makes a noise.
It emits
it just
music?
it just has a sound wherever it goes.
What sound does like a shark sound? Dun dun.
No, that's Jaws made that up. That can't be real. It's not just like.
What sound does it make? What sound does the Kraken make in like the movies?
I don't remember its face like being exposed. I'm sure Fairly Odd Parents. I'm sure it spoke. It had a face.
Yeah, it probably floated through the air.
But I don't remember it having like a face really. Oh shit. It might make a noise because it eats him. Spoilers. He's still alive. You saw the other 8 movies.
It's probably like a screaming noise, monstrous, generic monster noise is what I feel like would be in a movie. Just eats a guy. Johnny Depp fought off that chupacabra and then got eaten by a kraken.
It just kind of burped at him after it made the sound of an entire orchestra.
I was gonna say it plays very dramatic.
It's a very lush orchestral sound. And then it just like burps on him, which I don't really understand how it like breathes out and spits at him like it does. Because I don't think it could do that. It would just be like it would spit out a bunch of water, you know what I mean? It's not a mammal, it doesn't come up to breathe.
No, it doesn't.
Does it?
No.
That's what I thought. So
I'm not sure how
I don't think it would be
they work.
It can't just spit air out. It can't just breathe air out. It would have to spit water out. Like it was mucusy.
Ew.
But I don't think it could, you know what I mean? It doesn't have lungs to do that.
How do octopuses breathe? Where are their gills at?
On the side. They're like tubular kind of.
I obviously need to do just more research on octopus, but I hate them. I hate octopuses. Octopi, sorry.
Oh, it's not those little things on the side, is it?
Oh, no, I know what you're
There's
talking about.
funnel on the side. They have
like
gills on their head. Like on the side.
Okay.
The eyes back here, then the tentacles, then there's like the big nose
Before
part.
The arrow.
On the big nose part is
the arrow.
This is
arrow
octopus.
part?
This is not squid. You asked me an octopus.
Octopus, yeah, I don't know how that works. Squid, the more you describe, the more I understand. But still, octopus, I don't know. And I don't know which one I hate more.
So the funnel on a squid is on an octopus is what it said. On a squid it says a siphon. The front little arrow part is called a stabilizing fin. The other part is called a mantle. Yeah. Eye, head, parrot-like beak, arms, 2 long feeding tentacles.
Yeah. That's how it fucking eats shit.
I'm not seeing anything about gills. There's a siphon, so that must be in the mantle.
Mm-hmm.
This is specifically for a giant squid, even too.
AKA the body.
So
I would say like the largest.
The stabilizing fin is much larger on a giant squid. It extends through most of the mantle.
Okay.
It has its stomach. It resides in that part. God, they're like upside down. Their butts are on top of their head.
They poop out their heads?
They
poop out their heads?
I don't think so. But their stomach is up there. I'm not, and so are their reproductive organs.
Did they just ram together?
I'm gonna post this on there. But the gills are like at the sort of the base of the mantle, near the funnel. So the funnel must bring water in to run over the gills and then
so
pump
the gills
it out.
Are
I'm not really
internal-ish?
sure. The funnel, and there was it was referred to as a siphon in the other one. I'm not a scientist, so
again, if you are a scientist that studies
why are you
octopus
listening
or
to
squid,
this?
I hope you're
sorry.
not doing any research for anything based on this episode because it's awful. But I want to hear some more things.
They do kind of poop out of the side of their head. It's
Okay,
not their actual head, though. It's
This
like
dude
what you
got an
would
ear.
associate as the head, because the tentacles are like the feet,
The
you know?
feet, yeah.
So if you're anthropomorphizing a squid,
So
it
where
poops
would
out of its head.
Squidward poop out of?
Well, he's being anthropomorphized, so he would poop out of his butt.
But I want him to poop out of like his ear. Like,
But he's been anthropomorphized. He's like a human that has been made into... The whole thing with SpongeBob is like, at Bikini Bottom, like all this is supposedly like a nuclear fallout site, so these are just like... Somehow it
Bikini
created
Island,
all of these
nuclear
like
testing.
living these sea creatures
Yes.
to just like become people. I don't really. It's like a fan theory, I guess, which I'm into. But
I totally believe that fan theory.
I'm into
Probably
that
the
one.
best one.
But I think that just means that Squidward just poops the same way you would. He has a toilet in his house. He sits on it.
He does,
So
and he bathes like a human. So how far did we get into this Google Maps Kraken?
actually, we made it none. So let's dive into that now, because
Yeah.
I kind of talked about the makeup of a squid. Not really. I'm going to post that picture, so you'll
Yeah, I'm
have
sorry.
a little bit of a better idea.
We're kind
because
of researching as we go as things come up, and
that's what we always do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
hopefully it fits together perfectly at the end. But at the coordinates that are posted...
we did mention the
there,
coordinates.
Yeah.
This was supposedly found in 2009 on Google Earth.
Okay. I had not found when it was first found.
Do not have the individual's name who first found it.
I do not either.
We will be posting the coordinates as well as just a still that I will take of the thing, because I do have it up on Google Earth right now.
As do I.
Now,
And
again,
it's-
you'll need to pull this up, or
Yes. We're going to stop right now and give you 2 seconds to click on the damn link in the description so you can see what we're talking about. Otherwise, it's probably not going to make any sense. You're probably not going to be interested in this at all.
Probably weren't to begin with.
Anyway,
Okay, so this really looks like a squid. It really looks like a giant squid. The way that the fin goes down halfway over the mantle, this looks like a squid about halfway out of the water.
Yeah, it does.
But squids don't breach like that. That's not a common thing for squid to do.
It definitely looks like it's just rocketing out of the water.
Okay, so what if it's dead?
It just rockets out of the water?
Yeah. There's all the gases and stuff that build up inside after you die that would make it float to the surface. And then once it like pops, then it'll sink.
I mean, but
there's gases created from decomposition inside of its gut.
And it happens to whales on beaches quite a bit, and you have to like get rid of them in a special way so they don't fucking explode on you and just smell like asshole forever. But
just perpetually smell like a dead whale.
As far as I know, they just fucking blow. Like it's like a fucking rocket, like just not a rocket, like a bomb. Like it's not like they just get propelled in one fucking direction. Yeah. Like this looks like if there was a spaceship that was shaped like a squid shooting out of the water.
Okay, but
theory
so if it died really far down and it's this decomposition is happening and so it's starting to rise, like if that can it gain speed and like all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Like all of a sudden it's
there's
just
quite
like,
a bit of resistance in the water though.
There's some water resistance, but you have enough fucking stuff built up in there that needs to go to the surface, like air, like you get a tiny little bubble. That doesn't matter. That's going to go shooting up to the surface.
It's a very good theory, but I'm not buying it.
That's fair.
I want that to be real because I want to see a squid blow out of the fucking water.
Maybe. Well, I guess if it was dead in the middle of the ocean by this is actually near the Antarctic, I believe. Yeah, that's the landmass. It's south. So it also kind of maybe looks like a ray of some kind.
I don't see a ray. So I have it zoomed in like...
Rays do that. They do that like breach thing where they'll kind of swim on the top, and they can be large, but we didn't mention the size of what this supposedly is. Do you have that down?
So I measured it myself.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I got 107.86 feet, and that's very rough because I have like a very pixelated and I can't really tell.
Tip to like where that white is behind it.
Yes, and from my picture, and again,
there's no tentacles in this picture. It just looks like the head portion, which isn't actually technically called the head. So it's hard to translate. The top part of a squid
fin.
So finger guns with no clicks.
So yeah, I have like, I would say about 100 feet. That's according to Google Maps measuring.
The giant squid is supposed to be what you had 59, including tentacles, and that's like with the two longer feeding tentacles.
And that's probably like 20% or 20, maybe 20%. But I was thinking like 20 feet for the mantle and the fin, and then the rest of that is these long ass fucking.
Oh, you assumed?
I would assume. I don't know the makeup or the percentage of the squid.
It really looks like a squid.
Can you see the white piece on there?
On the very back of it?
Yeah. That's a little confusing to me.
Well, so all that white water is, I don't know if that's a part of that water as well. You know what I mean? Like it looks like it's moving. Because there's like there's little like waves of
there's a wake
coming
up
behind it and stuff. Like it really looks like it's something just jumping
emerging from the water. Yeah, 100% looks like that. But then there's also this
all this like blacked out area around it. It does. I mean, from far away, it definitely looks like a squid. When you zoom in a little bit more, it's hard to tell. Could it be a whale? I don't. Maybe the white part on the right isn't those fins. The parts on the side aren't fins. That's just also white water. It almost has to be moving based on the water around it. I understand water moves, but it wouldn't. The direction that it's breaking.
It's like away from it, which makes no sense.
No, it's like it breached in that spot that's super white, came all the way out of the water, and then landed right where it's at.
Okay, so some people believe it's an island. And it may have been confirmed that it's an island. But to me, these waves are going away from the island, which doesn't make sense to me. They look like they originate where the white spot is and then move away from this.
there's all that. I heard we talked about last time, like it was a rock or something, or an island, I guess. But shit. Oh, man. Okay, let me try and find another rock. All right, I found a small island. You know what? There isn't a bunch of around it.
White shit and
white
waves.
water. It's a lot bigger, but there's not a bunch of white water. This is pretty small. Let me look. Not a bunch of white water. Shit. There's a little bit around this one, but it's nowhere near what it's like on that other one. It's not the same. I don't think it's a rock, dude.
Also, why is it in the middle of this giant black splotch?
Well, there's those all over the place.
Why? Is it a shadow?
So it's pieced together by like thousands and thousands of satellite photos.
Yeah.
So there's different sections that like haven't been updated for a long time because like maybe when it goes by it's night, or there's too much sunlight in parts of the Arctic. Like you get glare, the picture's not as good, or there's something in it that you don't want to be shown allegedly, or in a number of things.
I get this.
This appears to be, so the Arctic looks like there's
It's
That's like the shallows too.
And it's right off of Deception Island, which is kind of ironic.
Yes, it is.
But man,
see, there's a little, I don't know if it's an iceberg or a rock off of Deception Island.
Also black.
Also in a black area, just like that, but it doesn't have all that white water, that movement around it. You know what I mean? Oh, there's like an outline that looks like a shark. Like a cartoon shark. It's not like I think it's a real shark. It looks like it's just like big fin.
So I see this island and I see no water movement.
On any of the other islands?
Anywhere around it.
The big splotch of white over here, but I don't see anything associated with it.
Anyway, you can surf around Google
and try and find
something that looks similar to that.
And it really, to me, looks like something surfaced where all of that, the white, the disturbances, something popped out of the water, and that's either it still going or like it came all the way up and then just like kind of landed on the surface. Because these look like ripples from further back, like if it's rocketing out of the water. Goddamn, what if it's just a fucking spaceship shooting at the back?
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so my other theory is, and I've only just developed this, staring at this for the last, I don't know how long.
What if there's some sort of secret base?
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
Deception Island or just Antarctica in general off this peninsula.
So I zoomed it in, as much as I could on my browser. I screenshotted that, zoomed in on my picture viewer, my preview, and it looks transparent where the outsides of the fins are. Mm-hmm. And then underneath it to the top of it looks almost like a carrier ship. Like there's a couple of white dots and like this.
Okay, so it does look like there is a boat or a barge, and that is something on top of the ship.
Either that's on something or something that took off from that ship, or
no, it's too because it looks like it's so directly above the ship that it has to be above it, but the size of it can't be based on the location of where it is over the ship. It can't be this much higher than the ship, and then based on the width, it doesn't seem like it's. This is confusing. So I do see where you see like a barge. It does look like a ship with something on it.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever's on it is massive. Like whatever's on it looks almost the size of the ship. This is interesting. That's a cool theory.
So, according to StrangerDimensions.com, this thing that we've been talking about for the last however many minutes is actually a sail rock of South Shetland Islands. So a sail rock to me looks like, I don't know. I'm getting different couple different images. Some are more rounded. Some are just straight up and down, like an actual sail would look like. But they just like pretty much rocks jutting out of the water.
Okay.
And cannot confirm or deny that the pictures shown are of the exact spot that we're talking about.
Oh, you found a picture
obviously, yeah, a picture of what this might be. I'm not buying it. So it's pretty much just a rock sticking straight up out of the water. Probably more like an island, but probably really tiny. It's just sticking up out of the water. From the side angle that I see here, I don't think so.
But those photos also just display when you search sail rock.
It's different than the sail rock photos I was looking at. Some of them are the same, but sail rock Deception Island pulls up. The first image it pulls up is
This one says the one is specifically off of
South Shetland
Islands.
is the first one that comes up.
I want to see a more aerial view of that. 30 meters high, about 100 feet.
That's makes sense. 7 miles off of Deception Island. Also says there's theories that it might be a giant squid, a plesiosaur, which I don't see that either. Underwater UFO, I can see that. And obviously Kraken.
This one actually looks like they're right off it and facing Deception Island. And it does look like it's just a big rock.
The third one. Third image on Google.
On mine, it is the second one in on the second line. It has a Almy stock photo over it.
And that's the Shetland Island?
It says Deception Island.
Oh, that's right.
Which is, Deception Island is right there. Shetland is what you told me the first time.
Deception Island is part of the Shetland Islands. Clear that up. In Antarctica. There's 2 rocks that are fairly close together. So that could just explain the weird things. But God, still.
I get what you're saying.
I'm just trying to...
But I don't understand the water movement around it. I get the water splashes up and stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, why is it not like that anywhere else?
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to wrap my head around it and trying to understand how it could be this fucking rock, but I'm not convinced at all. Much more convinced that it is a giant squid or
a spaceship.
It's
got to be a USO.
Yeah. Good cover up, NASA. Telling us it's a Shetland rock. Fuck you.
Man, that one's really compelling to me. Like, I'm super interested in that one. If it's a rock, that sucks, but
I hope it's not a rock, but similar to this Shetland fucking sail rock. There's also a bunch of other pictures on Google that look like cryptozoological beings, creatures, monsters, whatever. Just abnormalities, different size, fucking normal things. In particular, the snake-like beast that is creating a wake in the Oak Bay in New Zealand's Bay of Islands. Pita Whitehira, an engineer spotted the possible creature. That he spotted it, I guess, and he told Daily Mail that the wake could have been left by a creature around 12 meters or 40 feet in size. So it's just a giant snake-looking serpent thing.
Fucking back to anacondas too.
Anacondas in the motherfucking sea. I guess if it's in a bay, is it still the sea? Yeah. Okay. I'm not used to being around water.
All right, I got a joke then. Since
these are all
both
foreign
of the words. Why do seagulls fly over the sea?
Because if they flew over the bay, they'd be bagels.
Hey! It was like my favorite joke when I was like 6.
I'll have to teach that to my son. Maybe he can stop saying, guess what, chicken butt.
God, Christ, that gets old fast.
Yeah, dude. There's also an aerial photo over some shallow water in England, right off of it looks like a boat harbor. Boat harbor, is that what they're called? Dude, I'm not used to
Harbor's fine. It's off of a dock.
The dock. There you go. That's a better word. and it shows this giant crab.
I'm familiar with this photo as well. This would be like the original interpretation of the Kraken as a crab creature we mentioned earlier.
Yeah. But in this article that I was reading, they called it Crabzilla, which I like a lot more.
Crabzilla sounds rad, but to me, the photo looks fake as fuck.
Yeah, it's...
I do that for a living. I could duplicate that in 25 minutes, probably. Honestly, it might even look better.
Some also think it could be an unusually shaped sandbank, but I find that
There's
very
not
highly...
a fucking chance in hell that is a sandbank.
Yeah.
All right, where is that supposedly at? If you find that, I can pull it up on Google Earth, and I will find the dock and show you that there's not a fucking sandbank there.
Whistable,
sand can go away,
England.
but like Whistable?
Whistable, England.
Okay, so I found the spot. The sand has a shape to it, but there's not, you know what I mean? Like, there's not a giant sandbank that looks like a crab. There's no way. It was way too perfect. Maybe it like somewhat resembled in shape, so then somebody went through and added that. But I really think that it's fake. Again,
After you pointed
I do
that out to me, I
photo
do
manipulation
agree
for a
with
living. That's the kind of thing. Like I'm not I don't debunk things for a living. I'm not an expert at doing that. But just based on me looking at it, I'd be able to do that super easy. The photo's really grainy, so the quality of it isn't really brought into question much. Because you're just like, I'm zoomed in super far on a satellite photo. Like, that's all I can do, man.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do. Google took the picture.
Then you don't have to worry about the clarity of
yeah.
increasing the size of the crab. I just think there's too much detail in the crab. Yeah, okay, so that was the right harbor. I was in the right spot on Google
Obviously,
Maps.
when you looked at Google Maps, it had moved, Jacob.
Huh?
The crab had moved when you looked.
It kind of looks like it is the same image, like the same, like that hasn't been updated. But either way, it's not. They made it subtle enough, but it's just not. It's not.
It's not like this Kraken one where you can punch in the coordinates. You don't have to follow a link or anything. You can punch the coordinates in, and it'll pull up the exact same image every time. I'm gonna change this podcast name to
Crabzilla.
No, Kraken and other Google anomalies, Google Earth anomalies,
AKA all the Google anomalies. What I will say, there's some big ass crabs that actually exist. Holy shit, that guy's like 3 feet across.
Yeah, how big is the biggest crab?
I don't know this one that this woman is holding. I feel like it's the crusher pincher, the big one, is bigger
Jesus.
than my head.
Oh jeez. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. I regret looking this up. I typed in how big is the largest crab. First thing, the Japanese spider crab has the greatest leg span of any arthropod, reaching up to 5.5 meters, 18 feet from claw to claw. 18 feet of crab.
Okay. It's not. It's got really, really long legs.
Yeah, it looks nothing like a regular crab.
It's not like its body is 20 feet across and then it has legs. Its legs are so long. There's a picture of a man holding one, and the body of it is like at his neck, and the legs are dangling down to his feet. This one's got 5 foot legs, so that'd be 10 feet. If it was spread out, that'd be 10 feet, 12 feet across. You know
That's
what I mean?
probably not like a large one though. That's still fucking huge.
I've seen some of those in like an aquarium before.
Dude, those creep me the fuck out.
Yeah, they're weird.
Crabs creep me the fuck out.
But they're nowhere as big as that one in that image. So I'm not saying that they can't get bigger, especially if they're not living their life in captivity. And lobsters can supposedly just like live forever. It's fucking unbelievable.
They just keep shedding their fucking molting and whatever. Molting.
So I'm not
till
sure
no
if
end.
crabs can do kind of a similar thing, but
So maybe they saw one of these fuckers. Wandered over
so
to
maybe
Iceland.
that's where like some of those legends of the original thing came from.
thing.
Was like, dude, I saw a fucking 20-foot crab.
And then that 20-foot crab turned into a 100-foot crab.
Island-sized crab. I don't know about that. It was interesting. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh,
Where are you
man.
at? I think we're at that point.
Time to get off the fence. Time to get off the barge.
Get off the barge.
Dude, I think the Kraken's got to be just like a squid. I think it just has to be a
The
squid.
misidentification of a giant squid.
Yeah, and just blown out of proportion. You see a giant squid, you're freaking out, and you tell somebody, and then they tell somebody, and then they tell somebody, and then they tell somebody.
Just perpetuates.
gets
down
bigger and
for
bigger and
thousands of
bigger.
years, and then it just a bigger and bigger animal every
Yeah.
time. And
So like I tell you that I saw a 20-foot fucking.
he said it was like
thing.
20 or 30 feet, and the next person's like, yeah, he said it was like 30 feet, and the next person's like, yeah, it was 30 or 40 feet, and it keeps getting 10 feet longer
It's just
every
getting
other
bigger
story.
and bigger.
And so then it's just, yeah.
And witnesses aren't perfect. Like you're freaking out. You misidentified the length. You're like 20 feet.
Also,
means
you know
100.
who fucking sucks at telling distances? Everyone. You know when you're supposed to turn your turn signal on before a fucking stop sign? It's like 100
feet.
Yeah, 100 feet. People do that shit like a quarter of a mile down the road and shit, and like,
Or like 2 feet.
yeah, or like the second they're turning,
Yeah,
they
they're-
hit the turn signal.
They're
like,
turning and they just
the
pop it.
fuck are you using the signal for if you're already turning?
Obviously, you're already turning.
The point of the signal.
Was to notify me before you turn.
My left turn signal is out right now. So I feel like
Asshole.
an asshole every
You
fucking
fucking
time,
dick.
man. Because I'm turning left, so I'm like always
Can
waiting for
never
traffic.
turn left.
Yeah. I try and avoid it. I leave early for work, so there's less traffic. Like, I'm working my way around it, but all right. I'm sorry. We derailed again. Fucking.
What do you think?
God damn it.
I'm in octopus or in squid
I know-
boat.
I know we talked about it last episode, how it's not. There's a lot of ocean that hasn't been directly
Absolutely.
discovered, and there's, without a doubt in my mind, things that exist down there that we don't know of. If the Kraken existed at one point in time, it's probably dead because there was only one of them. I don't think it was
Yeah, maybe it was just
island size. I think again, and you're talking about like sailors and stuff too,
it could just be
which is notoriously like. You're telling
Drunkards.
stories. No. You're telling stories of that. Just like, yeah, there was a 700-foot fish. Like it's
You're off at sea.
commonplace to exaggerate the size of the fish that you caught
the
because they're
size of your
self-conscious of. Yep. Okay. You're one step ahead of me. Cool. All right. As long as we're on the same page, that's what matters. So it's one of those kinds of things. Just like they exaggerate a little bit, and then the next person tells the story when they're a little bit drunk to some people, so they exaggerate a little bit more, and then it's just become this thing. Maybe but it doesn't explain the system natural.
No, that's very interesting. Maybe Carl von Linn. Or
Maybe
Linn, whatever you said. I have Carl von Linn in my notes. But
Linnaeus is what I had.
yeah,
but
Linnaeus.
I think it was
Also, I've seen both. Maybe he saw a squid. Maybe he didn't see any of it, and he just thought it was real. He said, "There's enough evidence for me to think this is okay."
I wish I had picked up a copy of that or been able to look at one. Now that I'm thinking about it, would have been interesting to see if there was like a giant squid also in there, to see if he had differentiated between the two. Just like if there was something like this for ancient Ireland to differentiate between the Doarku and the otter. Because they have that like that moment where you're like, it mentioned that somebody was walking by and thought that it was an otter, so they didn't really pay attention to it, and then it attacked them. Maybe it was just a correct identification of an otter that attacked them, and they didn't think that it was going to, but
I don't know. It's very interesting. Anything from the sea terrifies me, 1. 2, interests me because I'm not familiar with anything that comes out of the sea. I've lived in Iowa my entire life. I mean, it just literally is so big, I can't wrap my head around it. I think I've said this last episode, but it's just so huge that anything could exist.
Yeah, the ocean's ridiculous. I'm also just now realizing we never once talked about how you would encounter or become or kill one. Obviously can't become, there's only one, and you don't turn into a squid. It's not like a werewolf. Encounter, you probably don't, but I guess go to the ocean over by Greenland. Maybe go
boat
deep,
around a while.
get a submarine.
Wait for an island to emerge.
Talk about how lucky all of your life is and how you're not scared of anything.
A Kraken would never come up and eat me.
curse Poseidon to the wind.
Look for whirlpools. Follow those down to
Follow
the
those down. They don't drain into anywhere, so you can't actually like sink in a whirlpool. Kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. I guess you would kill one the same way you'd kill any squid. You could drown it on land.
Drown it on land.
I think if it's a mile wide, I think you got to go with explosions. No harpoon's gonna help you. There's not a boat big enough to tow that. You need like a fleet, and even then, it's big.
Get a few helicopters. I don't know.
Get a couple of helicopters. Get a fleet of helicopters.
Yeah. Get about the world's fucking
and a bunch of like an aircraft carrier. Jesus Christ! You know the ones that carry the aircraft. Those planes. I can't think the ships. I can't think of their name, but
they carry airplanes though.
The aircraft carriers. Just get a couple of those bad boys, like the really big ones, or something. Or maybe there's something more powerful that would make more sense to use, but. You just go. Everybody hooks on a different side and pulls in a different direction. You just pull it apart.
Just strap it to a rocket, like
Send it
fucking
Space Kraken?
SpaceX.
All right, so that's that episode of Futurama again, where the pink tentacle thing that like loves everybody. It's voiced by David Cross.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his name. I just saw it the other day. Why does it always come back to Futurama too? Christopher Columbus, Futurama,
SpongeBob,
Pokemon. I think this is probably the one I'm most excited to talk about so far. Because last episode was Megalodon.
Yes, it was.
So we got
two giant sea beasts.
Who do you think would win, Connor? We're gonna assume the greatest of these things.
Absolutely.
When we do this.
Because where would the fun be in a shark eating an octopus?
And the best part about this one is like the very similar.
They both live in the ocean.
Their habitat is very similar, so it's not like
a giraffe fighting a something in the water.
Not a space worm fighting an earthworm.
Space worm would win all day. Earthworm would die on its own after it rained.
Is a worm a serpent?
I don't know the definition of a serpent.
I don't fucking either. Large snake, a sly or treacherous person. Okay, no, it is not. Never mind. Remove that.
God damn. You always put this on me first. You always jump the gun on this.
I'm trying to take the pressure off of you.
You're putting the pressure on me.
What, you want to go second?
I haven't heard your spiel. There's always a why. Here, I'll give you my what I think, and then you give me what you think, and then we'll discuss whys. We'll debate after we decide our sides, if they're different.
Okay.
Kraken versus... I'm going to go with Kraken over Megalodon. As much as I hate to go against the shark and pick a fucking octopus, I think that the octopus... I'm not going to tell you why. I just think Kraken over Megalodon. I'm going to leave it at that for right now. You tell me where you stand.
I would say that the Megalodon is a more fierce creature.
I would agree. No, I don't agree. I disagree.
I don't think it's necessarily more frightening. I think it's just like a shark is more fierce than a squid in general.
Yeah. More aggressive.
I don't know which one I would rather encounter. Like
neither. They
would both suck. Again, I think I'm on the same page as you though. I think a squid with like I don't know how it the fucking tentacles, man. Like that's a huge advantage. Having the ability to like grab your opponent. The Kraken's just gonna start doing some jujitsu and some fucking like get the Megalodon in a rear naked choke and just fucking drag that bitch down. Like that's all it needs to do.
Drag the bitch up and hold him up.
Oh yeah, there you go. He's gonna bring him up, hold him above the surface until it drowns. That's how it is.
Laugh at him from beneath the waves.
Fuck, that's brutal. Yeah, tentacles are just an advantage that a shark doesn't really have. I mean,
limbs are an advantage for sure.
They currently squids eat large whales,
and so do megalodons.
So do megalodons.
I was going to bring this up after we talked about this bit, but yeah, they both, giant squid eat whales. Megalodons fed on whales.
I feel like the battle with squid and whales is like a fucking 50-50 chance though. Like a whale could win, so too much stock in Kraken.
But I don't know how they fight.
Oh shit! We're assuming it's. What if we assume it's a crab?
That's a different fight.
That is a completely different fight because I don't know how a shark would kill a crab. I guess the megalodon probably had the bite force, but if it's a mile wide, I don't think it could get its entire jaw around it. So I would have to go with the Kraken again if it was a giant crustacean.
Yeah. Any iteration, Kraken wins.
He's cracking skulls.
Oh!
Wa-boom! Oh no, so we asked the same question last week.
Yeah.
Of the megalodon and the Doarku.
We did.
And here's what you thought. All right, so the results section of the show.
Yes.
Stealing your line.
Everybody's favorite section of the show. 1v1 results. Last episode, we had Doarku versus the Megalodon.
What it look like? I don't know what to ask you here.
80% of voters over on Facebook voted for the Megalodon.
I think we were both in favor of the Megalodon as well.
Yeah. I think that's where we ended up on.
I believe.
Actually, yeah. Now that you say something, I think
feel like maybe you didn't.
Somebody might have gone Doarku over.
I don't think it was me.
I think we both agreed on Megalodon, and then we decided that we talked about how a Doarku could kill a Megalodon in the battle.
I think we went both with Megalodon.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and double check. Just gonna move forward, assuming we both picked Megalodon. If not, this is gonna be really awkward.
As it stands now, we're both voting for Megalodon to win this battle. And
Facebook agreed.
Facebook, yeah.
And Twitter was a tie, right?
Twitter was 50-50 again.
All right.
So come on, Twitter. You were killing it there for a minute. Then Facebook kind of edged out your Twitter folk.
Okay, well, this week's poll then.
The winner. And in this corner, Megalodon.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I guess, yeah. The Megalodon wins this one.
Yep.
What's next week? What's the next poll?
Kraken versus Megalodon.
Oh, that's a fight.
That is going to be a fucking
dude.
epic
that's
fight.
That's the one. If you're ever gonna vote, that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are, two giant sea creatures battling out in the ocean. What more could you want? Maybe a robot.
Or like to see it.
I would, yeah. Not in a boat though. Airplane for sure.
I feel like an airplane wouldn't even be safe.
Not from the Kraken, but I feel like if he's focused on the Megalodon, he might I could just see him, a tentacle flying up and grabbing their plane and smashing it into the Megalodon.
What if you're in a helicopter? And
all right.
We're getting ahead of ourselves here. Okay.
The 1v1
Okay.
discussion. Thanks for checking out this week's episode.
If you want to get your 2 cents in, answer this week's polls on social media.
You can find us on Twitter at CountCryptid or Counting Cryptids on Facebook.
If you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, or you just want to chat, you can email us at countingcryptids@hotmail.com.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and tell your friends.
He's been Connor.
He's been Jacob.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks for another fascinating installment of Counting Cryptids.